Welcome to the May 23rd RDC, or Porter County Redevelopment Commission meeting. Call to order.
In absence of the roll call, may I just suggest that the minutes reflect that President Biggs, Vice President Rivas, and Secretary Ensign as voting members are here, so we have a quorum, and that Andy Milletta is here as well.
Okay.
And then number 4, Mr. Gillian isn't here tonight, so we don't need to worry about his oath of office.
We have the consent agenda, approval of the minutes of March 28th, 2023, the financial report, and approval of claims. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do you have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a
Aye.
second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Approval of $75,000 for local match to a $150,000 forestry grant application. Stu?
The Inflation Reduction Act included several $1 million for the U.S. Forest Service to plant trees in urban areas that had traditionally been overlooked. There was a time in our history, for example, when we redlined parts of cities and said that they don't need to have trees in those neighborhoods, and this is meant to kind of fix that. In the South Haven area in particular, the trees that are there are typically the fast-growing silver maples. There's not a lot of diversity, and there's not a lot of trees. Trees do a lot of good for the efforts that the county has done in the drainage programs, the deep roots and the like. And we've prepared a grant application. Mary Jane Thomas has put together a grant application. It would be $150,000 of federal funds. I've spoken to the township trustee. He's agreed to come up with half of the local match. $75,000 would come from the township, and the other $75,000 would come from you, from our budget for matching grants. And I recommend that you approve that.
Okay. Was there any discussion as to where we would actually plant these trees?
Yes. The trustee will plant the tree, his half of the trees on township property. Parks, senior centers, what have you. We'll do our best to plant the trees along public right-of-way in the South Haven area.
Okay, all right. Super. I'll entertain a motion of some type. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Yeah, I mean, I'll second it just to get to discussion.
We have a motion and a second. Hold for discussion.
I mean, Stu, it sounds great, but I mean, where in South Haven is it needed? I mean, is this going to be part of along Route 6 somewhere? The beautification of it?
Be along Route 6. I would look primarily in the residential areas first, where the county put in the new drainage and the sidewalks and the driveway cuts. I think a really important part, Mr. Rivas, is to get diversity of plant species. That helps in the canopy. It helps keep the neighborhood cooler. It helps the drainage situation by those. And if I may, one of the letters of support we got from the Porter County Soil and Water Conservation District, Michelle Benson wrote, for the past 20 years, our educators provided the school children in South Haven with outdoor science programs focused on trees and plants. Unfortunately, with an abundance of overgrown silver maple trees and little else, it has been necessary for the educator to bring in seeds and leaves in order that the children can see a variety of Indiana native trees. So the idea would be to plant more trees, plant more native trees, and help South Haven become more of a residential area with shaded trees.
And we have 2 elementary school properties in South Haven, which could also utilize
Yes, sir.
some planting of trees. And I really don't, we can discuss it later, but if we move forward with the program, is have some of the trees available for the residents themselves to put it in their yard.
That's a possibility. We've done that, or Mary Jane has done that in LaPorte County. The homeowner will get a tree and has to sign like a little contract that promises to water it and the like to help ensure the tree survives.
Yeah, I was wondering, I mean, us buying something and putting it on somebody's personal property, using government money on personal property.
There are ways to do
Ways to
that.
do that.
Yeah, there's an easement approach that allows that to be
Yeah.
done in other communities.
Plus, in 15, 20 years, you know, I think, Dave, you can probably attest to it. They start growing by the sidewalks and they raise the sidewalks. Kids can jump the ramps on it and we can replace them and, you
That's
know, all
typical
that
with
good
the silver
stuff.
maples,
Yeah.
for sure.
But I think the trees, I think that the trees that, you know, if we were following some of the other, what I've seen in some of the other communities, Chester's a good example, they took on this program. And the trees that they planted were the dwarfs. They were the flowering crabapple trees and stuff that don't have the root system to heave a sidewalk or be intrusive, you know, with roots, whether it's in the stormwater drains or water pipes, so. I think there's, if you look around to the parks there in South Haven, there's plenty of room for that. It would really look, you know, maybe lining the back the fencing of the softball fields with ornamental flowering trees would be very pretty.
The trustee's very enthused.
Okay, yeah.
And I think from the school standpoint, I think it'd be a great educational thing to have the kids involved in the planting of those
Yeah.
trees and the taking care of them and staking them and all the different
Staking
things
the
that go on
schools,
with it
there you
too.
Okay.
All right.
Speaked up earlier, Andy.
Yeah. Schools, yeah. So you recommend this, Stu?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, will we get a $300,000 program? Only goodness knows, and the Forestry Selection Committee of the U.S. Forest Service has to go through this process. The application's due in a week, so we kind of put the cart in front of the horse. The application has to be signed by the county commission executives, so they approve this morning, subject to your approval of the $75,000.
Yeah, we're just trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Of course, that would have been dead if we had killed it here. but-
Yes.
Nope, thank you for the question, answering.
So we have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. We have approval for a specialty qualification census for the Okra funding eligibility in South Haven. Stu?
The Office of Community and Rural Affairs in the state of Indiana receives community development block grant funds from the federal government for distribution in areas that are not otherwise eligible for CDBG. That's typically towns of less than 50,000. To qualify under CDBG, you've got to show that a benefit goes to at least half of the people in the community, and half the people being of low or moderate income. We've done a preliminary census review of the South Haven area, and the LMIs there range anywhere from 29 to 49%, as is with census data. The OKRA allows a local government to do special income surveys to determine eligibility beyond just the broad brush of the U.S. Census. Mary Jane Thomas is certified by OKRA to do these, has done them before in Hebron, I think, for example, and she is willing to do it for us in the South Haven neighborhood to see if we can get some of these census tracts over the 50.1% line. That means we could then apply to OKRA for any number of programs. They have a public facility program for fire stations and libraries. They have a blight clearance program, which we did for the library garden here in Valparaiso. And they have stormwater grant programs. So it could potentially leverage some of the money that our stormwater board has already been spending in the South Haven neighborhood. I think it's a good investment for $8,200.
So how do we get them to that point?
The survey, the census is done mostly by mail. Occasionally they have to do door-to-door. But the data is then collected, submitted to OKRA. OKRA has a specialist who reviews this data, and then they either wave a wand saying it's blessed or it's not. So we run the risk that we won't qualify, but we'll never qualify if we don't run the census.
It costs us nothing to try.
It costs us $8,200,
Oh.
$8,250
You gotta
is
pay.
what Mary Jane will charge.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the $8,250 to Mary Jane Thomas to move forward with
I'll second that.
the survey, I guess is what we call it, yeah.
So we have a motion to approve in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Approval for a special qualification census for the approval of a proposal to clean up a public section of a wetland along US 6. Stu.
At the South Haven meeting we attended, a community group meeting we attended a couple of months ago, they mentioned this stretch of, looks like wetland between Burger King and
Yep.
Dairy Queen. Looks like heck.
Deep.
And frankly, it's been a collector point for trash and debris and dead animals and whatever. I spoke to the property owner and encouraged them to clean it up, but we learned, and Kevin Breisky helped me on this, I appreciate this, that the northern portion of that is publicly owned. And we're not sure who owns it, whether NDOT bought it as part of the easements for US 6 and then never turned it over to the county or what have you, but this is one of those people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, and I suggested that we need to clean up our own act before we kind of get heavy and lean on private property owners. So we asked for proposals. The businesses are really busy. Two just answered, they're too busy to bid. One didn't bid at all, but we did get a fairly modern edge proposal to do that cleanup for $1,650. This is a sign of a construction highway sign that was tossed in there. There's all sorts of debris, and Modern Edge will clear that for us, and I recommend approval. You have money in your budget under property maintenance.
And Modern Edge is what kind of company exactly?
Modern Edge is it's a certified woman-owned business enterprise. They do a lot of work for NDOT where there's preferences and set-asides for WBEs. I know both the family members, Drew Sarkeesian and her husband Matt Woods, run the business and their quality group.
So just like a landscaping kind of cleaning, remediation?
Yeah, they're basically a landscape company. So they'll go in there. They've done this before under a contract with Soil Solutions. They'll clean up the debris, they'll mow, they'll clean the edges of the sidewalk. Now, they can't go in there and cut down all the cattails because it's a wetland, but we can clean up the collar on our side of the property and start to set an example, and then I'll continue our conversations with the property owner on the south side to see if we can encourage them to clean up that.
Well, yeah, moving forward, if this is ours, though, I mean, is this something, Commissioner, that highway should be looking at? I mean, to keep up on a routine?
It's not
Well,
all
it would
ours.
be ours, because it borders a state road.
Well, but there's a portion of this that's probably privately owned too. It's not all ours. It is a question mark of ownership, but it's
Right.
not, it's clearly not all of ours.
Right.
Oh, you mean the stormwater portion of it? I don't.
I think we own about 4 to 8 feet south edge of the sidewalk. So from the curb to about 4 feet south of the sidewalk, the best we can find from Kevin Breisky's maps are, those are publicly owned.
We just don't know who? I mean, we're going to try to clear that up?
Well, we know it's publicly owned. We don't know whether it's state or county, but it's somewhere you got to untie these. I was talking to Scott. Sometimes these knots get so tight you need to throw an axe at them and a sword rather than try to undo them, you know.
Well, I guess I'm just saying it's going to need ongoing maintenance to keep the area clean then?
Well, it will. Hopefully, getting the first run cleared will become a deterrent for, trash attracts more trash. And if you clear up a stretch of road of 17 different tires, all of a sudden the tires stop.
Right, I mean, we talked about this last meeting, the broken glass there.
There you go.
So, yeah, I'm just saying, if, I got no problem paying for this up front, but if it's ongoing maintenance, that we just need to send a highway truck out there.
I think he makes a good point. I mean, because I don't think it's a case of people throwing anything in there. I think it's a case of stuff blowing out of cars and trucks that are parked in the parking lot.
I've seen some tied-up trash bags in there. Yeah,
Well, that takes a lot of guts.
it does.
I would just say Commissioner Biggs is, maybe if, moving forward, we'll pay to get this cleaned up, but maybe it's something we need to put on the board and the highway that,
Yeah, we can keep an eye on it.
areas.
We can do that. Yeah, we can once a year to just go in there and
Once it gets,
pull stuff out of there.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're investing a lot of time and resources up there, let's use our resources. I'll make a motion to approve that contract for the $1,650.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Okay. Number 9, update on South Haven code enforcement. Stu and Scott.
I've been out there a couple of times, and I don't think the problem is quite as big as I thought it was when we brought it up to you. We thought we might have to hire a special code enforcement officer and the like. I found about 10 apparent violations, and Scott's already working on 2 of them. So what I propose we do now is authorize Bob Thompson to send a letter out to the 8 that have not yet been contacted. We drafted a letter, and it asks for voluntary cooperation, and if you can't do it within 30 days, give us a call, sort of a thing. I'm hoping that that'll get most of the 8 back into compliance. If they don't, then we turn it over to Scott and let him pursue it. He's already pursued a couple, and let me turn the chair over.
Yeah, one of the from the last presentation, the last meeting, one of the more egregious examples of potential violation of our sign ordinance, we've already sent them a letter to cease, and I was actually contacted today by their attorney to have a conversation about bringing that to a resolution. There's a much longer time period fix that's been happening with Mr. Richmond. That's the 443 West US Highway 6. That is, it's, you know,
Is that that corner, what's that corner property there?
That's that one.
Okay, that's been a long-standing issue.
yeah, and just so everyone realizes, we currently have $40,000 to $50,000 of that man's money held at the auditor's office to fix those problems.
Yeah.
So that has been going on for a long period of time. In a nutshell, the rent from the billboard sign
Right.
gets deposited here and will continue to be deposited here until the property, we either use the money to fix the property or he continues with his plan. Half of his plan went into effect late last fall. There is a grand plan and an order. There's been an agreement with staff upstairs for a building that would bring everything inside, landscaping perimeter, the things on the front taken down. We are obviously holding the remainder of his money and the future once-a-year distributions from the sign company until those things are completed. So Mr. Richmond, I believe, has been underway and is getting closer now to actually completion. And then can't remember the name of the auto dealership there, but
This one.
yes, but that's not their corporate name. So, but they have a lawyer, and he called me this morning, so.
I think it's called Sign Everywhere, Sign Auto Store.
Yes.
That was song. So we're going to try the firm but fair, please be a good citizen letter. We'll tell you what the response was at our next meeting on June 27th, and we'll take it from there. But I don't think at this time we need to be hiring a separate code enforcement officer. Let's see what the voluntary
Take a little
compliance.
softer approach, see what it takes.
Yes, sir.
See what happens.
Yep.
While we're still on the subject, though, that rock and roll car wash.
They're going to get a letter.
They're on the list right here.
I was out there yesterday and just looking at what was along 6th, and that kind of is the worst eyesore.
Yeah, as we go through this, Bob has suggested we may need to relook our property maintenance ordinance. For example, I couldn't find anything that requires you to maintain your parking lot. So some of these parking lots,
Yeah.
the code requires that you build them with an asphalt lot.
Right.
And then they crumbled into gravel, and
So what's the point, right?
So, yeah, so we might want to look, as we go through this process, Scott may come and say, I don't have a cause of action against this guy because blank.
And there's a good reason for what Stu is saying, and that's because our property maintenance ordinance is based upon county. And in the county, we don't have a lot of business, and we don't have this. But South Haven's uniquely dense, and it's uniquely unincorporated, so there may be some tweaks we need to do, because unlike a city, we don't have this type of, this isn't the majority of the things in unincorporated.
Yeah.
So that's very well taken. We may need to sharpen our pencil on that.
So we can agree to do that then?
We're going to ask him to clean it up and,
Well, I mean,
and
also approach and, you know.
Yeah, I'll put that on the list
Our property maintenance ordinances, bring them up to date.
yes, sir.
for more of an urban setting.
Right. Is there any other questions, Stu? Status report on redevelopment commission activities, Stu?
I'm going to trade places here with Beth and go through a quick slideshow, if I may.
Okay.
I know we've got a time constraint. I promise it won't be. You asked, both Jeremy and Jim asked that I give a presentation to the council and to the commissioners on activities of the redevelopment commission. I put together this slideshow. I want to run it by you first before you tell me to go ahead and send it on. Quickly going through, it'll say who we are, who our officers are, what have you, and what we're working on: South Haven, rural housing, broadband, economic development, and grants. I'll talk a little bit about South Haven, and I'll stop anytime you want me to. We'll talk about the code enforcement program, the grants for signs and facades, working for the Ochre grant to get grants for stormwater and the industrial park development, the status of the TIF that we started. This is the marketing that the landowner has started for the industrial property at 6 and 49. We'll talk a little bit about the South Haven Facade and Sign Grant Improvement Program, our code enforcement initiatives, and our efforts there. The update on the TIF is the Casey's General Store did not get a variance from the BZA for their sign, so this must be an old picture because the price of unleaded is $2.39. We'll talk about our working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture for their rural development program for housing improvement grants. They also have a grant program, for example, if you're on well and septic and there's a sewer line in front of your house, you can qualify for matching funds from the USDA to tie into that line. So there's a public health initiative behind it, and Mary Jane and I are working on putting a program together there. On Broadband Ready, we eliminated our fees here in Porter County for broadband providers back in '21. That has been a substantial incentive. We've now issued 651% increase in telecommunication permits since the fee was removed. 819 permits last year versus 109 permits the year before when we still charged that fee. So that Broadband Ready designation is achieving its purpose. We also worked with Comcast, got a grant to expand service in Union Township by about 67 households, and we've marketed a federal program for low-cost internet access to low and moderate income people through partnerships with the library and the schools. We developed flyers that went home with every school child in Porter County last year to promote affordable internet. Finally, we'll talk, well, not finally, but I have a little bit of an economic development role. Don and I were talking just this afternoon about a meeting I had yesterday in Hebron about a prospect that they have. We look at appropriate and meet and confer with them on incentives, and then if there's a package, much like we did in South Haven, I would put something together and run it by Jim and you guys and bring it up for potential approval later down the line. Finally, Mary Jane has helped us in grants. We've already approved the special census to determine CDBG eligibility in the South Haven area. She helped with our NERC application to get $1.4 million for Bridge 99, and she helped on the Next Level Trail grant, which brought in $5 million to the county for that program. So that's kind of running through quickly. You know about the Urban Tree Grant application. That's the slideshow that I propose that we send to the county commissioners and the county council.
Thank you. I have one other item I'd like to bring up, and Stu can get into more detail with it. I received a call from a member of the Valparaiso Kiwanis. They have a committee that goes around and builds these ramps for residents all over the county. So far, they've done, I believe, I was told 48 ramps in different places.
For handicapped citizens,
Handicapped citizens.
makes their house accessible.
Yeah, last week, and they did one for a retired vet who is in a wheelchair. But they were housing out of a building the city of Valparaiso owns, and they've been told that they have 2 weeks to move out, and called the county to see if we had space to house them. Now, I contacted Jim Polaric. Jim told me we didn't have anything large enough to accommodate them at this time. But Stu had also talked to Jim, and I think Jim was asking if I had any space here in Valpo, that there was space in Valpo. And my understanding, talking to Stu today, is that there may be a chance of having some space there at the South Haven garage.
Maybe, we need to kind of pursue that. But essentially, they need about a 3-car garage to store their tools, bolts, hammers, wood, keep it dry and safe. And then volunteers from the UAW and the Kiwanians will go and build ramps for primarily senior citizens
Right.
and veterans. So Jim asked me if worse comes to worse, if we had to rent some space in the short term before they need to get out of where they're at, would the redevelopment commission be willing to offer to pay for that for a limited time until a more permanent solution could come?
So they had reached out to a company who has a lot of rentals, a lot of, what do they call those?
Mini storages.
Mini storage units right outside Valpo here, and I think a large one they're on 2 in Washington Township, and another one right there on 6, just about on the corner of 6 and Calumet.
Mm-hmm.
And but I know the owner, so I called the owner and asked him if he would be willing to help, and he stated that, yeah, we offer situations like this half price to what we would typically charge. So Stu and I crunched some numbers, and we feel with $10,000 we'll set them for about a year until they can find a place long-term to settle in. But my feeling was that they do so much, such good work, and it's the kind of work that governments don't do. It's just, we can't handle that sort of thing, and it has such a powerful effect on a life that's in that, that's having to deal with that at this particular time. So I wanted to know whether or not the board was willing to set aside $10,000. Now, it wouldn't be a case of us handing them that money. As Stu said, we would hold the money, we would make the payment, and if they found something in 3 months, then they start making payments.
I'm thinking we're kicked around the number of maybe $500 to $700 a month. I didn't know you could get the 50% off special, but probably enough money we could tell them that would last up to a year
Yeah.
to encourage them to move out.
See that, all their equipment was stored in the Valparaiso barns, where we store the Porter County Council on Aging vehicles also.
Oh, uh-huh.
We had to move all our
You had to
vehicles
move
to the
too?
parking lot and vacate the building. And then that was brought up at our meeting last week about this, because now all their equipment, they've got to find a place, a home for it, so that that building can be torn down, and to the good of mental health and everything else, there's going to be a building there for mental health rehab and that.
Oh, I see.
So everybody's kind of trying to make room and make moves. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with our buses for the winter. It's going to be kind of cold to clean those windows but I totally agree. We need to help them because they do wonderful work for the seniors. They've built numerous ramps for people here in this county. So I totally agree with moving forward with 10,000 set aside to try to do the rent.
What's your thoughts?
Scott, does that fall under something we can legally do?
Yeah, under normal circumstances, this would be a problem, but because our money isn't coming from a TIF district, our money is coming basically from our local income tax, and it's transferred over to the RDC, doesn't have the same handcuffs on it than that normal redevelopment commission money would have. So, I mean, that most of this is happening in the county, so I think we're legally okay.
And I explained to the gentleman I spoke to, I said, look, this is kind of unorthodox, and if we can, if the board does agree to it, it's gonna be a one-time, you know.
Maybe for them, but does it open the door up for the next, nonprofit that needs a,
There's no press here, nobody's gonna know about us.
Is cameras working? Are you recording this?
Sorry.
I'm not against it.
No, I understand, I get your concerns, and it is a concern. It's just, it does, that program does such good work. I mean, it's hard to,
Not denying that, Commissioner, I just want to make certain that this commission stays focused. I mean, you're doing a wonderful job. I think this commission has finally gotten itself off the ground and moving in the right direction. I think the Route 6 corridor is, we're redeveloping an area. We're focused on what we should be focused on, and we just want to make sure we stay focused on, we don't go off in other areas, and, and I get why cities and towns do it, but I just want to make sure we stay focused and continue to do positive things out of this redevelopment commission, because there's plenty to do in front of us on Route 6, just to start. So I've got no problem supporting it.
okay, that's a yes.
I said I got no problem. I don't know if there's a motion or anything.
There's a
I don't-
motion, I can make
I'll make
this,
the motion, yeah.
and I'll make the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, motion approved. Is there any other,
Only the calendar, please, for June 27th at 4:30 for our next meeting. And whether or not there's any, I don't see anybody signed up from the public to speak.
super.
No, keep up the good work. I think it's great.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Beth, tell Joy we did it.
You got everything through you wanted.
Thank you all.
Why, Joy wanted you up by 5?
You too.
She wanted you done by 5 too?
I'm sorry?
Joy wanted you done by 5?
Yeah,
Oh.
because she wanted to set up.
Stu, is this your phone?
Yes, it is.
Righty.
I put it over here so it doesn't roll. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go to town. Get these subdivisions going.
How's that go?
Go good, they just pulled some permits. Wiring in the ground, getting ready to connect. They're gonna start putting a few foundations in, so.
Weren't you guys doing some kind of like bike path or something also?
Path across the country.
Huh?
Your path across the country.
Yeah.
Oh, that's coming through, oh yeah, it's kind of going north of Hebron now. It's kind of going out through Boone Grove area.
Oh, it's going to bypass you guys?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's strange, but it is.
Or they use it on old railroad right away?
No, they're kind of coming right through.
On your property?
Yeah, it really shocked me when all of a sudden the flags went up and they started pulling. I'm looking across the fields and I'm thinking, these farmers ain't happy. But no,
Yeah.
it's exciting. Now all the infrastructure's in on the first subdivision.
Come down and look sometime.
Yeah, come on down and see us. Let's have lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get a hold of you.
All right. When I need to sign anything, then just send it to me. We're used to signing minutes.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, they would be up in the planning department. When I get them done, I send them to Val, Christie, and,
Soon these will be live.
I know they used to have a book. I
Yeah,
think there you go, say, you know,
I'll mention to them that you
maybe for
haven't
the next
signed.
meeting or something, and we, okay?
I will mention to them to get you something, and if you wanna sign it, if you need anything.
If they need it or whatever.
Yeah, if you need anything, you and Terry need anything, give me a holler.
Anything else?
I think I'm all good. Thank you, sir. Ms. Cook, are you okay?
I am good still.
All right.
Just wait, I'm here, just transferred over to thumb drive and I'll be out of here.
All right.
Before Joy kicks me out.
Joey kicks you out.
How you doing?
Can I have 2 minutes of your time?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, I know you haven't turned in the compliments to you. And I know, I'm sure you're probably upset over that.
We still just have the 3 budget meetings in 2022,
Okay.
if you want to do those.
I will, yes, I will get those done, those are priorities. It's just that between COVID.
I
and my
understand.
brother, I'm breaking my arm.
I understand.
House fire and everything, and I apologize, it's unexcusable, I apologize. The other thing is, we have a lot of sunshine.
Right.
And the rest of all of this, we have so much better.
Okay, that's all right.
I'm going to start doing it when we get back to our house.
Well, it's good.
All right, once I get into the house, I'm gonna try to show you doing it in my basement, okay? But I don't have any way to get it. Absolutely. I've talked to people, I've talked to this people, we'll do it, and it'll be fine, and they're just not.
What a lot of times people do is, you know.
I understand. I knew you had your hands full,
Just sit
so
up
I'm
to the
not
side.
mad. I'm not even mad. So, don't you worry.
This way,
Well, I am very, ask a question or something. I just. Really just.
I know. Second.
No, it's all, it's
All right, thanks, Greg.
All right, thank you, Joy.
Hey, I appreciate you blowing me off last night, you know, no problem.
Yeah, I did it politely. Didn't I?
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't get done before the late, so.
Oh, well, you know what? I didn't start. Just kick me out, dude.
Yeah, on top of all this, Joy, now the people that were staying at their house,
Yeah.
they had it already pre-rented, so we have to be out for 4 days. So I have to have everything up, move out, and move again in 4 days.
I am so sorry. What's going
Don't be,
on?
you don't have to be sorry.
Okay, so, are we okay?
I don't, what did you tell me?
Okay.
We called and said, come on.
How are you?
Okay, so I just
What
want to make
brings you
sure
to the
that we can
council?
go on
In
and
front of
get
the
those
council here.
presentations.
Why?
From where?
How did it go?
Good question.
Oh, okay.
It's the Porter County, Highway Department and stuff.
No, you'd be in the county.
Well, I see your mom and dad all the time, it's good seeing you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, which one is it?
Just-
It's just all that you're just gonna put them all up?
I think the last thing we did was we were at the Legion.
This is just gonna be the
Yeah.
PDFs?
Yeah, PD.
Oh, David.
I will, he's out in Arizona right now, but yeah, I will.
For him.
Yeah. That's what he says.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
I panicked a little bit,
No,
you
it's
know
all
what I
right.
mean?
I'm right across the street, so no problem.
Thanks for everything, Joy.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
No problem, hon. And hang in there, man.
Thanks.
There we go. So what is this today?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be one of them. I'm not sure what they're gonna do first.
What is
It could
today's
be
meeting?
could be this,
County Department?
yeah. So let's put that one up, I think.
Okay.
Or we could shrink that down and then bring another one up.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, I just look them all up
Dave,
over here.
Dave Wisniewski, by the way.
Try that one. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect, perfect.
Hi.
All right.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.
That's the full study.
we'll do a full screen, so then you can hit next slide, next slide.
We had a copy of the study,
Yeah.
but we have a PowerPoint also.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't have that, so, do you know what it would be under?
I have no idea. Russ was gonna send it, I mean, I've got a copy on.
Did you find it?
You have a copy? Okay, give that to me, and I will put it on, I'll put it on the council, and then we'll pull it up, okay? Because is that gonna be different than this one?
I mean, it's
right there.
It's a little, it's condensed.
isn't
Okay, all right.
Well, this is the full study.
That's a full study, that's the
Oh.
full study.
I mean, that's a
We
digital
don't want
copy.
to go through the whole.
Yes, yes. Okay, so that's it right there? I'll bring it right back to you.
Okay.
And is this the only thing on here?
No.
Okay, well, then you come with me if you wouldn't mind.
That's my emergency section.
Yeah, he's he'll be here in a week. He's gonna run, so. Who's that?
Long time no see.
Where'd he go?
Sorry that I asked you for the wrong thing, but Dave now is gonna.
He's on the redevelopment commission, he's president. Or planning commission.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've never recognized you. I had no idea you had a beard. No, I had no idea you had a beard.
Long time.
Councilman?
No eating in the gallery.
Uh-huh. Is that your dinner? Is that your dinner?
No, I had an Arby's big beef
Oh, there you go.
for lunch and dinner. So when I start crashing, we'll know. I'm type 2.
In my office. We won't have you do your math.
So, like, you do.
Sorry, got pulled away.
Huh?
I got pulled away.
I mean, if it's worst case scenario, the pictures are at the back of this, it's just, they won't be quite as large.
I need him again. Can you bring him back? Okay, sorry. All right, buddy. John will take care of you, okay?
All right, thanks.
Oh, there he is. David's got the thumb drive.
It's already on here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Because it won't go on mine. There says Commissioner agenda right there.
This is the one from this morning here.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, sorry you guys.
No worries.
So it's gonna be, it's this Porter County Jail, right?
Yeah, that's not it. That's for when they bring that.
Yeah, and then
And then the,
Health Department.
yeah, health department and the other, highway one.
Let's see who's the first to get up. Loser buys breakfast at Susie's. I said,
This one here.
let's see who's the first to get up. Loser buys breakfast at Susie's next time.
I got you.
It'll probably be me.
Do we know what order these are in?
Let's just move this thing right along here.
Oh, you know what, I have to borrow a pen.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels good. I probably should turn my phone off.
Yeah, set up. It's right in my box.
Thank you.
Where are you, Mr. Britton?
Doing all right. How's it going? Doing okay?
I have this kind of roll. Okay.
If I have to,
Yeah. All right, no problem. Okay. Yeah. I understand. I like thick too.
I was out there. You've seen it. I've seen it. I was out there. It's kind of horrible.
They can't hire people. You think you're gonna hire people with that facility in the future?
Not only that, I mean, not only that, it's the cost. Fire them off, this and that, it's also. What they had to deal with out there, government would be shut down.
You get a water spot in one of those buildings over there. Those very walls. You ever seen the pictures in the post?
You got that one? Okay.
Thank you.
He's got one in his hands.
Okay.
Walls are cracked. Signs, you know, there's 20,000 signs up there.
I didn't know there was that many, but.
Subdivision.
They used a different jump during, so there, it wasn't working. Now it is.
It is right now?
Yeah, because they used a different one. And they pulled it up, they wanted to use a PowerPoint one. Because the pictures are big enough.
It'll be up.
I let you go too soon, man.
No problem.
Oh, great, I got smudgy on. I know, I shaved and everything.
Did you?
Yeah.
Put on a jacket,
Well,
He
you
looks
know,
good, huh?
right?
one time. Yes, thank you. One time I shaved half my mustache off to see if my wife would notice. I walked around like that for a week.
Long time no see. Oh, you got a bleach. Yeah.
Okay, we good?
Huh?
Yeah. Got the shift.
Half. Only half.
Oh, now that had to happen.
Wait, no.
What do you mean half?
I
You
shaved
have one
half.
side on and
One side off, and then I was like that for a week.
What else? What else?
I think that's it.
That's it. I'm right across the street if you need me.
Okay. Here you go.
All squared away.
Thanks, Ben.
All right.
Here's the legal tip. You're welcome. Yeah. No, just only the additionals for the,
For the first and second.
I thought I was here. Greg is here. Who's here?
you're right here.
Is that Jeremy?
No, this is you. I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, it's a crazy day.
How you doing, brother?
Nothing, how you doing?
Is that,
Everything. Hi, Sylvia.
this is your book.
Good, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
Same here.
No, whose phone is that? Yours? I'm not sure. Could be Greg's.
Oh, I bet it is Greg.
This is Greg? Okay, put Greg right there.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? Good.
Are you ready for this show? Really?
Have we seen the same agenda?
What I was, are we having a presentation? I thought everybody got canceled.
Not everything.
The jail. Or, is this garage? This is highway garage, right? Is this jail? Okay. Well, we still gotta hear about it, I guess.
I got everything. Thank you, Bill. Oh, no, not at all.
And
I'm in the dark. And I'm wearing sunglasses, and it's at night. That's how, That's how
You won't get made.
you know what? Be very,
Hey, somebody took my book. I had a book laying here. You stole my book. It was handed to me. Go on. Put it down here. FaceTime, yeah. Whatever it's called.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, it's
Smart, I like it, I'm the guy with that.
You have one in your packet too.
Every call we have is good.
It's in a packet?
I don't have one.
Every call.
It must be in here. It's probably just not a nice copy like this.
Take a look.
It might be in there.
Joey, could you have given us more of our package?
Maybe wrong. Definitely.
Hey, are you gonna be able to sit in on that June 1st meeting with Colorado, just to see?
June 1st with who?
With Colorado?
Who's Colorado?
Oh, out of Hebron?
Yeah, that guy wasn't very pleasant at the last meeting we had. He was very confused. He had no idea. He said he just found out about the meeting like a half hour before, and I'm like, okay, I said, I talked to John Spinks early in the morning. And so, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not unless, I don't know how that's gonna work.
I talked to Scott.
It's like, if you go to Facebook, go to Facebook.
I was talking about, to him about if we gave vouchers
Yeah.
to the providers. So now they have an appointment and they know that person doesn't have transportation, they get a voucher. They
So like
turn-
Porter Stark
Yes.
has an appointment, then they get the voucher to give it?
Yes.
Okay, so how does the ride happen?
Okay, so then it has instructions on how to call a ride.
Okay.
And then they collect those, name the person, and the date and the time. And then they turn those in.
Who do they turn them into?
They have to turn them into,
The auditors?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
So
ticket
they-
pay.
Okay. Kind of like a claim check, kind of speak. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we'll find out what the real demand is. How is